Hey folks, MasakoX here. The likes of Babidi didn't really get that much of a showcase in the original story, given that they're not typically seen as strong. That being said, Dragon Ball doesn't often sample the avenues of magic in their tomes. He genuinely posed a menace for the Dragon Team, and was able to take Vegeta under his wing, albeit with the Prince providing some assistance. But could anyone else do that? Nope. Shame that Buu had to off him when he was annoyed. But in this timeline, he wasn't. Babidi was spared by Goku. And could he wind up being useful for the team if he were to go along with them for longer? Or at least be less evil toward them? In the last part, we started to explore the tales of the Goku Black Saga, with Babidi providing some very interesting information. That is until future Trunks woke up and spotted him and almost iced him, there and then. It became clear that he had seen Babidi in his future timeline and stopped Buu from being released there, so he was a little bit raw still from that experience. And it also quickly became clear that this Babidi was a better person, and that the wizard found it intriguing to have heard about his future self, and that he had bested them. He was the better version. He was the real deal, better than that future counterpart. When Goku Black finally did come back in time to face the present team, he was very much outclassed, like in the original. Okay, so what's new here? Well, with Babidi here, he could try and take over Black's mind and coerce him maybe into stopping whatever he was doing. But when the vegetable tried to do just that, he was met with a very strange sensation. Something divine. That was very weird. So when the future peril was cast back into said time, Babidi had begun to produce theories as to what or who could have possibly been the origins of this foe. You know, the one who supposedly looked like Goku but clearly wasn't. Is this where Babidi's skills could yield dividends and save Trunks' future from the writers of Dragon Ball Super? Let's resume. So, in the aftermath of the intruder from the future disappearing, the group was starting to take stock with what exactly had just gone down, and one big thing becoming clear. Sadly, in all that chaos of a future enemy just randomly appearing in a plume of purple cosmic energy, no one had realised until it was too late that this doppelganger had managed to destroy Trunks' time machine. Nobody had sensed where the key projection had gone until, you know, burning wreckage. Damn it! He knew he was losing, and so had to stop me from chasing after him. I could have finished him off. Goku was trying to calm him down and said that it wasn't his fault. A lot of things were going on. But one thing was for sure, Babidi had been correct. That wasn't Goku. Yeah, I mean, I would never do something so petty, even if I were evil, the Saiyan proudly boasted in the midst of this misfortune. Good to know, Goku. You planning on turning evil soon? I actually hold that thought for the Tournament of Power. As Beerus was brought up to speed, it left the cat with a certain degree of comfort, despite the situation clearly involving his attention. He is at least glad that the time machine that Trunks had arrived in was still destroyed. You don't want to get yourself embroiled with the likes of time travel, boy. The gal in charge of all of that is a real stickler for that kind of stuff. You mean there's a god of time as well? A god? The only god around here is myself. Whis interjected. Don't let Zeno hear you say that. Beerus shut up about that afterwards. After the pleasantries were divulged, Vegeta turned to Babidi and glared at him. Alright then, spill it. Tell Lord Beerus what you told us. Leave nothing out. Babidi swallowed loudly. Despite having done nothing wrong here, and in fact been the most useful person in the room save for Goku, the mage still felt a strong sense of guilt and fear whenever pressed for information.
Lord Beerus, I checked the aura of this stranger as he was fighting Goku.
Beerus looked very disinterested. And why should I care about that? As far as I'm aware, it's an evil version of the simple Saiyan. Babidi was slowly withdrawing in himself and had to pluck up all the courage he had just to keep talking.
He seemed to be some sort of a godly being, not really Son Goku.
Beerus stopped jeering and started to listen a little bit. A godly being, eh? Whis, do we know anyone that would fit the bill? I'm not sure. It's an overly basic explanation, Lord Beerus. Babidi, could you please elaborate for us? I mean, we can't really do anything with your primitive description.
I think I spotted a ring, a silver one with a squiggly pattern on it, which I believe might have been connected to his time-traveling abilities? I'm not sure. It's been so long since I've seen it in one of my...
Beerus narrowed his gaze. Oh, a time ring? Has somebody been naughty with the temporal seams?
Maybe.
Babidi started to regain his confidence.
I had never expected to see one in the wild.
And for good reason. If you're familiar with them to some degree, Babidi, then you probably know that only Supreme Kais are allowed to wear them.
Exactly. So, does this mean that the Supreme Kai maybe possessed Goku's body?
Cool your jets, Potato, sniped Beerus. As much as I would like to get stuck in, even I know that you should not be hurling accusations at Supreme Kais. It gets messy for all concerned. There's clearly a need for a lot of planning and investigation before wading in with these allegations to any sort of Kai. All as Whis and Beerus began to question Babidi more seriously about the exact nature of the things that he had experienced when trying to control the interloper.
There was something particularly weird surrounding that aura. I cannot place it exactly, but it felt alien. A little bit like how everyone felt to me from Universe 6, but slightly different. Like it was from a higher plane of existence.
A different universe, perhaps. Whis, any ideas? The angel sighed. Oh, if only we had gotten here a few minutes earlier, Lord Beerus, we could have probably identified it ourselves. Easy peasy. But I don't think my time to over technique would go back long enough, I'm afraid. Beerus grimaced. Drat, the easy route wasn't an option. All right, fine. Goku, Potato, you're with me, Babidi squeaked. What's the matter? You're getting what you want, right? Us investigating. You managed to be useful for once. Don't squander it. We're going to go on a little field trip. 2 of them, actually. And you had better not try any of your tricks, wizard. You got lucky with one heavenly being, but you weren't with me. If I even sense the slightest hint of you trying to pull a fast one, I will destroy you. No question. Beerus wagging his finger as he said this in front of Babidi. And at this point, the potato expected this and just silently nodded instead of looking flustered. Well, good. He was starting to get a little bit desensitized to Beerus's posturing. Whis nodded and transported the 4 of them to the sacred world of the Kais, but the Universe 6 one. The timing was unfortunate though, because Fua was taking a bath at the time, and then it had suffered the indignity of having 4 people randomly turning up in his bathroom without warning. Water cascaded everywhere. He was trying to protect his modesty. What? Beerus, Whis, what is the meaning of this? Could you have at least knocked? Well, Babidi, is it him? Babidi focused, covering his bulgy eyes.
No, it isn't. This one's aura is extremely inelegant and basic.
Basic? Fua spluttered. Do you have any idea who you are talking to, mortal? Beerus came to his aid. He does, and I agree with his assessment. Well, fiddlesticks, said Whis. Don't bother yourself, Fua. We won't be bothering you a second longer. He then transported everyone out of there. Goku raised an eyebrow before they left, though.
That's a nice rubber ducky.
That's not a... Fua started talking, but Whis then teleported everybody out of there before he could finish that sentence. Whenever they teleported somewhere, Babidi would always suffer major bouts of dizziness. It would obviously be something he would never be able to get over. Beerus gave them a warning prior to their next arrival. Now be careful, you 2. This is Universe 4, and its destroyer, Kitella, he hates my guts. So try not to get yourself entangled in any of his business. When they appeared on the sacred world of the Kais, they were approached by a tall, orange-skinned Shinjin. Ah, Lord Beerus, the figure conveyed. To what do I owe the pleasure? Beerus nudged Babidi with his elbow and motioned him to do the thing. 1 second, Kuru. My wizard needs to check something. Babidi focused deeply. Goku looking around this world, and despite this just being a permutation of another sacred world of the Kais, it was still cool to see a different version of it.
Wow. Is this another universe?
Yes, Goku, Whis nodded. Kuru then suddenly looked suspicious. Hang on a minute. Why are you giving these mortals a whistle-stop tour of our realms? Are they your candidates? He said with a slight hint of disgust. Surely that little wizard there couldn't be his pick for a destroyer. He thought Beerus had standards. No. We had an invader from one of the other universes darkening our doorstep. The wizard felt their presence, and we're simply trying to identify them. Calmly. Don't tell Kitella. Maybe he could... No need! Babidi! How are we doing?
No. It's different.
All right then, we won't be taking any more of your time, Kuru. Okay, bye! We've got us out of here. And they vanished, much to Kuru's surprise. All right, Universe 9 next. Though I can't imagine they would have the spine to act against us. As they appeared in the middle of another sacred world of the Kais, a rude-looking, pale green-skinned Kai was going through pages of some large tomes. Seated next to him, there was a bearded fellow, dressed in Destroyer god garbs. This time, Beerus felt confident to be a little more forward and bossy instead of cowardly. Since the mortal level of Universe 9 was beneath his own, he could lord over them.
"Ro! What are you reading, buddy?"
Beerus exclaimed, as they appeared behind him.
Beerus, what is the meaning of this intrusion? I swear, if you're looking for trouble, I'm going to report you to the Grand Priest. Don't think I hadn't forgotten about your last prank.
"Oh? You look awfully panicked, don't you?"
The god of destruction next to him looked embarrassed.
"Beerus, surely we can act reasonably for once. We have done nothing to aggravate you. Now make my day, wizard, and please tell me it's this ugly sod what did it. I've been looking for a reason to Hakai this fool for millennia."
My lord? That's unbelievable! Why would you make such a—
"I would gladly erase you from the surface of this world. Beerus, there is no reason to—"
The other god of destruction started to talk.
Shut up, Sidra! This means war! My lord, I don't think it's them.
Huh?
It was at this time when Beerus finally looked at the book that Ro was reading.
"Maintaining universes for dummies." Oh, you two must be really desperate then. And here I am thinking that you were trying something fishy.
Beerus wasn't even mad that he wasn't getting the chance to erase Ro. He was just happy that he could recount this to his friends. Oh, this would keep him laughing for years.
This is outrageous,
Shouted Ro, clamoring for his book back.
I haven't even finished it.
All right. Have your bookie wookie back. Now go ahead and delude yourself into thinking that nobody saw you reading it.
I'm going to report— They're gone, right?
Sidra sighed deeply with relief.
Yes, they're gone.
Ro slumped back in his chair, with no intention of bothering the GP, because he didn't like Ro anyway. He simply leant forward and continued to read his useful manual. Meanwhile, Beerus, Goku, Whis and Babidi were heading toward another universe. Beerus still chuckling to himself about what he had caught Ro reading. This universe they were going to looked kind of respectable, not really threatening, and as they walked around it for a little bit, they noticed two Shinjins, an older one and a younger one. The younger one was pouring some tea for the older one.
"Goasu, long time no see."
Beerus tilted his head.
"Lord Beerus," exclaimed the yellow Kai. "It's been a while. Allow me to introduce my apprentice, Zabas. He is a true fighting genius and a very impeccable candidate to replace me." "How long has he been training under you then?" "About 75,000 years.
Goodness, said Whis. That's next to no time. He really must be good. However, Goku was more focused on the fighting aspect of Zamasu.
A genius, eh? Oh boy! I want to fight him.
Babidi covered his face with his little palm.
Of course you would, Goku. Of course you would.
As Zamasu saw Babidi and Goku talking, he got visibly annoyed. He didn't want to fight a mortal. With all due respect, Lord Beerus, why are you bringing mortals to places they do not belong? Is it to defile the sacred world of the Kais? I don't know what you get up to in Universe 7, but here we don't. Beerus and Whis exchanged quick looks. Oh, okay, he's young. He's still quite zealous. He hasn't mellowed out yet. A clear case of a prodigy who thought too highly of himself. Not to mention uptight. Beerus was about to ask something of the apprentice, but Whis discreetly touched his arm and nodded, him choosing to steer the conversation. But Goasu did it for him.
"Zabas, you need to get over your hatred towards mortals. I heard that Beerus has some very respectable warriors in his universe. Perhaps it would be polite if you accepted this man's challenge."
Zamasu looked offended, but decided not to defy the will of his master, and gave Goku a little bit of a sparring fight, thinking it would be over within the matter of seconds. But no, he quickly was proven wrong, shocked at just how strong the Saiyan was. The Kais got increasingly astonished by the power exhibited by Goku, and also by his own admission that he had fought gods in the past, including Beerus, and had lived. As Goku ended the match, Zamasu tried to retaliate, but Goasu stopped him from doing anything rash. Meanwhile, Whis decided to bring Goasu up to speed about Goku Black, and as they discussed this matter, Babidi was discreetly pulling Beerus' leg, trying to get his attention.
My lord, this one.
Babidi pointed at Zamasu.
He's the closest fit.
Beerus glared at Babidi for a second.
"Are you absolutely sure? You're not lying just to go home early, are you?"
I would not dare do that, my lord. I value my life too much.
Beerus smirked. He got the message. Him also getting a little bored of universe hopping.
"Good. Let's get this over with."
Whilst Whis was explaining things to Goasu, Beerus approached Zamasu.
My. You sure hate mortals, don't you, apprentice?"
Zamasu looked a little hesitant, but did not backpedal. If it were up to me, I would put some in their place, but have most of them destroyed. Beerus gave him a wicked smile.
"Then I'm afraid you might be in the wrong profession, boy. That is the job of a destroyer. And even then, it's more about trimming the excess rather than overall destruction. I feel that if you were in my shoes, you'd be even more chaotic than I.
Zamasu wasn't scared. Why stop at one branch when the entire tree is corrupted? Beerus' smile widened.
Why indeed?
Without another moment's hesitation, he grabbed Zamasu by the forearm and twisted it. All he simply said next was,
Hakai.
And much to everyone's shock, Zamasu disappeared from reality. The usually placid Goasu then shouted in horror.
Beerus! What in the universes are you doing? You killed my apprentice with no reason!
Goasu stood up, tripping over his tea table. Even we seemed kinda stunned by this action, Babidi almost fainting at the suddenness of it all.
I believe we found the one we were looking for. He won't be bothering us again,
smirked the cat. Babidi, while certain of his deduction, still felt terrible. He hoped that he wasn't wrong about this. If he had made an error, he might be next. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. If you like the story, check out this one where a magical twist saw Chi-Chi becoming far more than she ever was, and a pretty cool fighter. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!